Okay, you guys, a two shots to cover defense situation with a 5-shot revolver. What that means is that you're going to fire 2 shots and you're going to have 3 so that you can get to cover. Now, what you're going to do with your live ammunition is you're going to take your live ammunition that hasn't been fired and do the same thing that I did with these snap caps. And that is take the 2 live rounds and take a Sharpie and mark those rounds. The reason why is because when you open the cylinder, when you're going really fast and under pressure, you might not be able to see where them 2 dimples were. So what this does is this aids in letting you know the first 2 shots that were fired, which would be this one and this one. So when you have live rounds in here, you're going to put black marker on this one and you're going to turn the cylinder until this one is in the 12 o'clock position. So then this one's going to be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and so on and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this cartridge right here is right at the top so that the next one and the next one that are marked get fired. And this is what it's going to look like in a defense situation. Now, you fire 2 shots in a defense situation. Most private citizen gunfights, and we're not counting law enforcement or military because they're vastly different than private citizens when it comes to self-defense. Most private citizens that get into a gunfight, what happens is the bad guys usually leave within the first 3 seconds or the first shot because they don't want to be in a gunfight. And that's usually what happens. If you look at all videos and you look at all the incidences and read about them, you'll find out that things went down pretty fast, which means that it's very rare that somebody's going to come to your cover to try to challenge you. But if they do, you still have 3 rounds in the revolver. You fired 2, you still have 3 left. But if you know the coast is clear and you can take advantage of that time and reload them 2 rounds, then pluck them out and put a couple new in. So what we're going to do is we're going to simulate that I fired 2 shots, okay? And then I'm going to grab this this little idea that I had with Bianchi speed strips, the mini strips here, where you just got 2 rounds. And you grab these 2 rounds, put them in real quick, and that replaces the ones that have been fired, the 2 that have been fired. So here I am. I fire 2 shots. I get to cover. I'm looking. I notice that nobody's coming to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to top off them 2 rounds, pluck them out, and I can see them because they're black. So I put in 2 more, and I'm ready to go. I'm all topped off. Now what you would do is, say somebody did come to your cover and you fired 2 shots or whatever, and let's say that you ended up someplace else where you had to use cover. You'd continue the process. The only thing is that the very first time you do this, at least you're going to have 2 cartridges that you're going to be able to pluck out really fast because you've already marked those cartridges. So once again, I want you to picture that these are all live rounds, okay, even though they're not. These are all live rounds, and what you've done is you've marked these 2 so that when you open the cylinder, you don't have to look for the dimples because all of these cartridges would be all brass color. And when you swing it open like that, because you're under pressure and stuff like that, you have to look for 2 dimples, and it's really hard to see 2 dimples. Wouldn't it be better if you just took a marker like this and marked them live rounds? Don't get them mixed in with your snap caps now, you know what I'm saying? You mark them live rounds that you carry for defense like this, so that when you fire them 2 rounds, you can identify which ones you fired really quickly, and you can get them out of there. So let me show you once again. Now you can have speed loaders and speed strips or whatever you want, but the scenario I'm talking about is the drill that I do, which is 2 shots to cover. That means that you know you have cover and you're going to fire 2 shots just to defend yourself and get to cover. You're not going to chase bad guys. You're just trying to defend yourself and get home, basically. So you're not getting involved. You're not chasing people and stuff like that. That's for law enforcement. You could end up in a lot of trouble in court and even be in prison for the rest of your life for chasing down somebody, even if you were the hero. And some people say, well, well, at least the bad guys, at least I shot them and they're not around anymore. Well, they're not around anymore, but the thing is that if you're in prison, you're not around anymore for your kids. You're not around anymore for your family. So it's like you died too. You know, you can be almost like you're dead even though you're alive. Sitting in prison while your kids have to come visit you. You know what I'm saying? So understand that yeah, sure, you can take out the bad guys and chase them and stuff like that, but you're going to be sitting behind bars and your children are not going to be able to see you. You're going to be in there for the rest of your life possibly because of our government and because of the way the system is so anti-gun these days. It doesn't matter if you have concealed carry insurance. I don't care if it's USCCA or anything like that. It doesn't matter. What they're not telling you, these people that take your money and represent you in court, what they're not telling you is the things that are going to go wrong. They can't help you with everything. So what I'm saying is that your only goal as a private citizen is to break contact with the enemy. You're not necessarily trying to kill somebody. You're trying to stop them from what they're doing. So if you fire a couple shots and they're gone, you've stopped the threat. So stopping a threat isn't necessarily incapacitation. Almost all private citizen defense situations didn't require any incapacitation at all. So anyway, enough blabbing on about that. I could go on for hours about that. But anyway, I've got my 2-shot strip here. So I'm going to show you. I love these things. I practice with them under time trials and stuff like that. I can get 2 rounds in here real quick. And even though you don't have, you know, like if I fired all 5 shots, for example, which I don't plan to do, and I had these 2, it's better to put these 2 in and get ready to go rather than fumble around with a 5-shot speed loader or something that you might get stuck in or something like that. I know how to load them effectively in the right way, but the thing is that sometimes just throwing in a couple like this and defending yourself from cover, even if you did fire all 5 shots and you turn it over and you hit it like that, you can slip these 2 in real quick, get back in the fight. And the way you would do that is you're unloaded here. What you want to do is you want to take your thumb and your index finger right here. Notice that the chamber is right at the 3 o'clock position. Notice that there's a groove in this Taurus right here. And what that groove does is it makes it so that a round can go in there. And if you have it here, for instance, look at it's touching the rubber. See that? So it was designed, the revolver was designed to load from the 3 o'clock position right here. So if you have a speed loader, you're going to drop it in and let gravity do its work. You're not going to push it in. Okay, them are Safari Land. I'm talking about HKS. You're going to turn it to the right and let the bullets fall in. You're not going to push them in because you'll touch that rubber right there. So I've just fired 5 shots. I open up. Index finger right here and thumb. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the 3 o'clock position, which is right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in like this and then bring this empty chamber right up to 12 o'clock position. And I fire 2 rounds. Okay. And that's how it would be done. But what I want to stay focused on is I want to stay focused on this 2 shots to cover defense drill. It's something that everybody should do, whether you have a semi-auto or a revolver. What you want to do is get a piece of cover, and you want to have a couple bad guys, 2 of them. And what you're going to do is you're going to simulate you taking 2 shots. You can either give one guy 2 shots or one each gets 1 shot or whatever you want to do. You only fire 2 shots. You get to cover, and then you put a couple more in if you're simulating the fact that they're not coming to your cover. If they were coming to your cover, you still have 3 rounds left. So here I am. I'm going to simulate that I've gotten to cover, and I'm going to top off the revolver. So here we are. I open it up. Okay. I get rid of them 2 rounds because I know they're black. I know they're marked. And I put a couple rounds in, and I'm ready to go. So the rounds after that probably aren't going to be marked. Okay. But your first ones in the defense situation are going to be marked, is what I'm saying. So it isn't going to work with all the reloads that you do. It's just going to work with that first most important reload to save your life, which is seeing the cartridges where they're marked with a marker right here. So there's 5 live cartridges. You want 2 of them marked with this. You want to make sure that they're the first 2 that are fired for the drill. So you're going to pull the trigger twice. You're getting to cover now at the same time. So as you're firing, you might be trying to get to cover. But once you're at cover, you assume that nobody's coming. You can see that nobody's coming. And you go, okay, I'm going to top off this revolver so that I got 5 more in case somebody wants to come. So you open it up. Okay, get out them bad rounds or them spent rounds there. Get in a couple more. And you're all ready to go. See what I mean? So what I'm saying is that this is a visual aid for somebody. So this is what the whole video is about vision. When you open up the revolver, if you have 5 live rounds and you fired 2, normally what happens is all of these are going to be brass colored. And sometimes that little dimple is hard to see. It's hard to see which ones you just fired. So what this does is this gives you the first 2 live rounds, knowing that you fired only 2 rounds. You can pluck them out real quick and replace them. So I'll do it one more time for you. So this is a 2-shot to cover drill. It's where you have 1 piece of cover and 2 targets as the enemy. You fire 2 shots, however you want to do it. Get to cover. You're looking. You notice that nobody's coming, so you're going to top off that revolver, but you do have 3 rounds left. In case they came around, you still have 3 rounds, okay? So you can finish them off. But you found out that they're scattering. Everybody's gone, okay? And you're thinking to yourself, well, now's a good time to top this thing off, okay? So it's kind of like a tactical reload, you know what I mean? You're replacing the rounds that you fired, topping it off, and you're ready to rock and roll. So that's what my video is about. My video is pretty much about vision. It's about knowing that once you fire 2 shots, okay, that you can see clearly if the 2 live cartridges are marked with black rather than trying to look for a dimple. So you're going to look just for them 2 black ones because you're only going to fire 2 rounds. So 1, 2, open it up. See, you're all ready to go. You already know where they're at, like that. So even if you didn't have a speed loader, if you just had a couple loose rounds in your hand, you could just go like that. You know, some that you get out of your pocket or a pouch or something. One of the things I often use sometimes is pouches. Let's see where that one is. And I'll show you the little pouch that I use. It's from Crossman. It's a pellet pouch. And what it is it's a pouch to hold at least 500 pellets. Let's see if I can find it real quick here. Okay, I don't have it on me right now, but let's see. Here it is. Okay, sorry about that, people. I held you up for a couple seconds. So here's a pouch right here, made by Crossman. It's Velcro. And it's used for putting 500 pellets in. Notice it's all Velcro, so you can put it on your belt and adjust it to where you want it. It's going to be on your right hip belt. And you're going to put the cartridges in like this so that you can reach in there and grab them, whether they're loose or whether you have speed strips or whatever. And that way you can grab really quick and get them. Just like your speed loaders that you would have on your hip, on your right hip, the same thing. You grab the cartridges in here and put them in. You know, so you'll be pulling these out of this right here, taking out the bad ones. Okay. Put in a couple new ones, and you're all set to go. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, you guys. So basically just remember, it's a 2-shot drill, getting the cover, and then replacing them 2 shots that you just fired. That's basically what I'm talking about for this particular drill. So anyway, thank you very much for watching.